Hello and welcome back to Scorekeeping by Kenosha Opera Festival. We're going to try something a little different for scorekeeping in this episode. We'll do our own take on the ever-popular Top 10 list.
There's so much material to work with. Where to even begin? Top 10 times classical music showed us the meaning of Christmas. Top 10 operas where aleatoric music taught us not to take plans so seriously.
No. We're not going to do any of that. Today, we're going to break down the top 10 burns composers have dealt or been dealt in classical music history.
Oh.
This may be shocking to hear, but sometimes musicians can get a little full of themselves.
No.
Yes, and even more shocking, some of these musicians feel compelled to share their opinions on a very public platform to a large audience.
I cannot even imagine a scenario where I would feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, of course, me neither. But gossip is gossip, and even your favorite composers have been guilty of sharing a snide comment or two on their fellow industry professionals. Both living and dead, in fact.
That's a low blow.
You don't even know the half of it. Let's get into it. Number 10. We're starting with a name that you'll see more than once on this top 10 lineup. Igor Stravinsky, a Russian composer of the late 19th and 20th century, earned fame primarily with his ballets. The Firebird, Petrushka, and The Rite of Spring are some of his notable ballets, and his notable opera works include The Rake's Progress, Oedipus Rex, and Persephone. And his notable burns include this comment on Handel's dramatic oratorio, Theodora. Quote, "It's beautiful."
Aw, that's not a burn at all.
And boring. Too many pieces finish too long after the end.
For the record, when Stravinsky said this, Handel had been dead for nearly 200 years. That's cold, dude.
Number 9.
Who doesn't enjoy a good Beethoven listening sesh? Well, Claude Debussy, apparently. On Beethoven's Adelaide, a Matheson poem written for voice and piano, he had this commentary to provide. I think the old master had forgotten to burn this song, and we have to place the blame for its exhumation on the backs of his overly greedy heirs.
Oh man, I like that one.
I'm pretty sure that's a burn on Beethoven and a burn on the rest of his family.
Legacy burn.
Number 8.
Beethoven wasn't innocent in the gossip game. The famously bad-tempered composer was no doubt full up on opinions about music and his compositional colleagues. In fact, he gets a little PG-13 in this next burn. Remarking on Rossini, a prolific Italian composer of 39 operas and definitive compositional voice in first forming the bel canto aesthetic, Beethoven said, "Rossini would have been a great composer if his teacher had spanked him enough on the backside."
How many spankings do you think it would take to fix 39 operas?
I guess however many Beethoven got.
Maybe he was just jealous that he only wrote one opera.
Number 7.
Rossini wasn't afraid of throwing his own punches. For a man who wrote as many operas as he did...
Barbara of Seville, La Cenerentola, The Italian Girl in Algiers...
Right, a lot.
Otello, Tancredi, Semiramide...
Yes, he certainly...
William Tell, Le Comte Henri, La Donna
He
del Lago...
certainly had an appreciation for the amount of time one puts into both writing musical works as well as listening to them. So that might explain his thoughts on the German composer of such operas as The Ring Cycle, Tristan und Isolde, and The Flying Dutchman, Richard Wagner. On Wagner, Rossini quipped, "Wagner has beautiful moments, but awful quarters of an hour."
Honestly, it's like quarters of an hour is kind of going easy on him. Isn't Götterdämmerung like 5 hours? Number 6.
Okay. It's starting to seem like no composer was guiltless, but a few gems actually demonstrated rare humility in some instances, Beethoven being one of them. Is that right? Beethoven?
Yeah. Wow, yeah. I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might think that the great Beethoven might not have much to be bashful about, but when discussing his late string quartets with his publisher, apparently he remarked, "There is less lack of imagination than ever before."
Self-burn!
Ooh.
I kind of feel bad for making fun of him before.
Yeah, but he could still kind of be a tool.
That's true.
Number 5. Even though these composers ripped on each other now and again, they had to know deep down that the work each of them was doing was really hard and important and artistic.
Yeah, not all of them thought that.
Seriously? Who?
Stravinsky.
I knew it.
As promised, Stravinsky makes another appearance on this top 10 list. This time his target is Olivier Messiaen, a French composer of rhythmically, melodically, and harmonically complex music. Stravinsky had other opinions though. Of Messiaen, he once said, "All you need to write like him is a large bottle of ink."
Stravinsky, grow up!
Come on, man. Number 4.
The moral of this list is probably, don't dish it if you can't take it. One composer gets a little revenge on Stravinsky. Benjamin Britten is a 20th century English composer known for a broad range of works, including his exceptional British operas, including Peter Grimes, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and The Turn of the Screw.
He was a huge figure in the growth of British musical culture in the second half of the 20th century.
Absolutely. And he really knew what he was talking about.
I feel a slapback coming.
After seeing Stravinsky's opera, The Rake's Progress, he commented, "I liked the opera very much. Everything but the music."
Oh!
Take that, Stravinsky. Number 3.
I've got bad news.
No, please, no more Stravinsky. Get a life, dude.
Apparently, Stravinsky made more enemies than friends. Sergei Prokofiev, of the Russian composer of the ballet Romeo and Juliet and operas The Gambler and The Fiery Angel, was known to have a rather strained relationship with Stravinsky.
I'm shocked.
There's a story about the time that Prokofiev played the vocal score of his opera, The Love for Three Oranges, for Stravinsky after its premiere in 1922. Stravinsky hated it and said that Prokofiev was, quote, wasting time composing operas.
Ouch.
Oh, that's not the worst part. Prokofiev retorted that Stravinsky was in no position to lay down a general artistic direction since he himself was not immune to error.
Nice clapback, I think.
Right. But that's the point where Stravinsky reportedly became incandescent with rage, and the whole incident nearly became a fist fight. The two had to be physically separated.
If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen, Stravinsky.
Number 2.
Most of our list has been relatively recent composer beef, but there are some feuds that go back a lot further than the last couple hundred years.
All the way back to the 16th and 17th centuries. Giovanni Artuzi slammed the up-and-coming composers like Monteverdi, writing, "It is my belief that there is nothing but smoke in the heads of such composers, and that they are so enamored of themselves as to think it within their power to corrupt, spoil, and ruin the good old rules. These moderns have learned to string together a few notes with little grace." That's from Artuzi's first critique of moderns in music.
So, Monteverdi.
Titled On the Imperfections in Modern Music in 1600. After 11 years without a word, Monteverdi slipped a comment into the preface of his 4th book of madrigals, defending his compositional practices and saying he was part of a new, second practice of music writing.
And how did Artuzi take that?
Pretty well, actually.
Oh, good.
Just kidding. He wrote an entire second treatise on the imperfections of modern music, part the 2nd, dunking all over Monteverdi some more.
Points for original titling there.
But points deducted for wasting his life fighting Monteverdi, who is considered the father of modern opera, and who didn't even seem to care that much.
The number 1 composer burn on this top 10 list? Number 1.
It's a Sunday night takedown of...
Brahms, German symphony, chamber, and choral composer.
And in the other corner, prepping his attack, Tchaikovsky!
Russian ballet, symphony, and opera composer.
Okay, ready?
Herr Brahms, you are a giftless bastard. You're a pot-bellied boozer, a self-inflated mediocrity who never expresses anything, or when he does, never expresses it fully. I consider you to be a very untalented person, full of pretensions but utterly devoid of creative inspiration. I rate you very poorly, and indeed, I simply look down upon you.
Can't top that, honestly.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of our first top 10 list.
Know any other good composer burns? Drop them in the comments below.
Honestly, considering these big personalities, there's probably enough material to do 100 top 10s.
Do you have a top 10 list you'd love to see us do? Let us know.
If you enjoyed this video, we'd really appreciate a like, and it would be awesome if you would subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos as they come out.
If you know someone who appreciates a good classical music burn, you should probably share this with them.
Thanks again for watching. Have an awesome
and operatic day. Oh, we're not going to drink?
You can do whatever you want. I think I'm going to leave that as the ending. That's a perfect...